Hi all, good morning. So this is the seven questions I've given yesterday. I'm not sure how many of you tried, but anyone who wants to discuss on any question,
Tanvir, I have a doubt in question number 4.
let's see if this is the first and last of different columns. Okay. This one. I will give a hint here. Okay.
Okay. Like I have written a query. It is working fine with first 4 entries, but it is not working fine with the one in which they don't have last name.
Okay. Okay. Then you have to use case and you have to swap it. Okay. But let me explain it.
Okay.
So hope my screen is.
Yeah, screen is also.
So this is our employee table. Let's start with employee. And in this name column, we have Sanvikant, Pratish Kumar, Prasad Reddy, Manoj Sharma, and Abdul Hussain, right? Question is asking to display this in two columns, first name separate and last name separate. Okay, that's the question. Hope the question is clear, everyone.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the table output we want in this fashion. First name, last name. So it's like Pratish, and similarly Prasad Reddy, Mrinal Sharma. Here it should be. Okay. So this is the question. I think we have discussed this yesterday. Discussing the question. Now the question is how to solve it. First of all, let's make a little logic here. Here, what I will do, I will ask SQL engine and listen very carefully. It's a very important question. Here, or else you guys tell me what should be the logic. I'm not asking SQL query, just tell me the logic what you will implement here.
We
Split by comma.
What you will tell the SQL engine from there is what to do and all those things. To get the first name, what should be the logic?
in order to put first name and last name in different columns, we need to extract whatever there is before comma in one column and whatever there is after comma in separate column.
Perfect. Perfect. Very simple and good logic. So here actually we have to split this string which is before comma and after comma, right? So in other words, I
Yes.
can tell that I have to tell to SQL engine that SQL start from first character and stop before comma. Okay.
Yes.
I have to tell to SQL that SQL start from the first character and stop before comma. Is this correct logic?
Yes.
Yes.
So for this, I will write select name, comma, substring, name column. So here I will write one. It means it has to start from one. Okay. First of all, let me clear this one. This, I am getting the entire data because it started from one. And by default, if you have not mentioned the third argument, it will go till the end. You know this, right? But I have to add a third argument and I have to tell the SQL engine that please stop before comma. Is this fine?
Yes.
So I have to tell to stop before comma. First of all, any question till here in this logic? Everyone fine?
Yes.
So now the thing is, how should I tell the SQL that you have to stop before comma? So for that, first of all, I have to find the position of this comma. Am I correct? I have to find the position of this comma. Now tell me which keyword will tell me the position of a particular character.
In a string.
in a string. So now I will use in string. First of all, we'll write in string name, then what I have to search? Comma,
comma,
right? From where I have to start? First position.
First.
Which occurrence I want? First occurrence,
Mhm.
right? From y. So SQL engine is telling that Tanvir here, Tanvir Khan comma is at the 8th position, Pritish Kumar comma is at the 8th position, Prasad Reddy comma is at the 7th position, Mrinal Sharma comma is at the 7th position. Abdul, you don't have comma, so it is at the 0th position. So this will give me the position of comma. Is this clear?
Yes.
Any question, anyone? That Tanvir, why I have written this? This is not clear. Please ask if it is not clear. Okay, it is clear. Now what I will do? I will now what I will do? I will copy this. I will paste. Yes, of this. Is it fine? Okay. Now let me run this. What output?
Generating comma also, and we are getting null in Abdul.
Getting comma also.
We can put -1 in string.
Okay, okay, Abdul, I will come to that. Don't worry. For others, you are getting correct output or what's the problem? For other values, is it correct or not? Tell me, is this correct? Then with comma, is this what you're looking for? Quotation comma, is it what you're looking for, guys?
Yes.
Oh, yes, yeah. You want comma also?
No, we
Okay.
will not want comma, but
We don't want comma. So now
Right.
tell me how to remove this comma.
-1 in
Very
string
good.
value -1.
Good, good. I will tell to SQL engine that take one step before only. Don't go till comma. So that's what I have written in -1. Stay one step before comma. Now is this fine? Now is this clear?
Yes.
You got first name. I know Abdul for you. Abdul you have not got. I will tell you how to handle it. Leave the Abdul part for the time. Okay. So you got it? I will take a pause here. I know this is a little bit confusing. Any question? If it is not clear, tell me. I will repeat this. Because all the questions in this assignment are based on this only. All are based on this only. This concept only. You have to search for position, then use that in substring. Sometimes you have to do -1, sometimes you have to do +1 and all these things. This is the overall concept. Got it? Okay. Okay. Now I have a question. For this Tanvir Khan, Pritish Kumar, Prasad Reddy, Mrinal Sharma. So if I tell that this is the first name, you all are convinced? Okay. Abdul, we are getting null. For Abdul, we are getting null. Why for Abdul we are getting null here?
Comma is not available. Yeah.
Comma is not available. Okay, let's try to run this query. In this query, for Abdul, it is displaying as 0. Why it is displaying 0? Because you are searching comma and this Abdul, but comma is not present in Abdul. That is why it is displaying here 0. Okay. Now, when you are executing this query, what happened here is you have written substring name. So you are telling SQL engine to start from the name. Okay. Sorry, to concentrate on name column, they start from first character. Okay, so for Abdul, it will start from A. Everything is fine so far. Now, in string name, this one. For Abdul, what will the value of this?
0.
0. 0 minus 1 is -1. So it is like you are telling, in the case of Abdul, that select name comma, service string, name, comma, 1, comma, -1 from employee. For case of Abdul, I'm telling. Let me run it. Ignore the other one. Okay. So you see 1, comma, -1. It is null because they're telling a start from the first position, go till -1. So I have told you that negative direction it cannot go. That's what this is displaying here as none. And the same reason when I'm executing it, it is displaying as null. Is this clear? Why Abdul is displaying as null?
Yes.
Okay. Fine. As I'm not responding, I'm take it as positive that we have. Okay. Now first task is over, but still Abdul we are getting null. First name we got for all the other values, but it is not coming. Now you guys think and tell me how to handle this. Abdul is coming null here, and you all know the answer. 100% sure. Just you have to think little bit. Tell me how to get Abdul. You all know it. Try to remember what a keyword which replaces null certain value. What is that keyword?
NVL.
NBL. Good. So I will tell to SQL engine that SQL in this output, wherever you are getting null, okay, wherever you are getting null, they replace that with this name. So here now what I will do in this query, okay. So here now I will do the SQL engine that SQL I'm using NVL. So in this, if you are getting null, then please use the name column only. Now I am running this, please verify the output. Is it fine now?
Yes.
Okay. So how this NVL is doing? This NVL, first of all, it will check that for this particular you are getting some value or not. If this is fetching null, then it will replace it with a name column. That is why in this case it was null earlier. So that it has replaced with whatever was present in the so you're getting. Any question else? Now this doesn't looks good. So I want to replace this with some other name, first name. What I have to do?
Just give alias
Let's
Really?
else.
first name.
So in this question, you can see how service string, in string, and get all. Okay. Fine. And this all is part of the complex query that people will start with the since complex is something is complex. We're working on this on daily basis. So it becomes a- Okay. So is the question over? Or do we have something
No.
pending? Okay.
We have
Now you have
find
to
last.
find the good, last name. So for last name, what I will tell, what I will do, I will tell to SQL engine. Last name I will not explain this. You guys have to do this. The last name, what I will tell to SQL engine, that SQL concentrate on name column from where SQL has to start the journey.
After comma.
Start after comma, and then after that I will not give anything. Means he has to go till the last by default, right? You know that. So now this position to start after comma, how to derive this value? Start after comma, this position. What I have to do?
In string.
I have to use in string function. So now you guys can do this.
Yes. But this Abdul is also coming in the output in my case for last name.
But this logic is clear, no? I have to tell to SQL engine that SQL concentrate on name column, start your journey after comma. Okay, fine. Now, how to find the position of comma? So this query will give me the position of comma. Okay, this is the position of comma. So I will keep it here. But I am telling to start after comma. So what I have to do here?
+1.
I have to give plus. Let me do this. Is it fine?
No,
What's the problem here?
we are getting Abdul in last name as well.
Okay, that will handle. No problem. What about others? Will be found. Is it fine?
Yes.
Okay. So we got this values that we found with Teshma and all these values we got. Any questions so far? Any question? No question. Now here in the last one, we are saying that Abdul is coming in the first name and Abdul is coming in the last name as well. Now how to handle it? Any idea? Anyone? What to do here? Think you all know that. You all know that what to do. Okay. Now see what I will do after this. After this, it will be little bit not complicated. Just the case statement I will use. Okay. Just one case statement I will use. So, okay, first of all, shall I give alias as last name? Last name. Okay, this is the output. Now here the concern is Abdul is coming in first name, Abdul is coming in last name as well. Okay. So here what I have to tell to SQL engine that SQL, if in a particular name you don't have comma, in a particular name, if you don't have comma, then keep last name as nothing. Okay. So in this now I will play with case statement. So first I will keep this in a CT expression with CT1 as. I hope you all know what is CT.
Yes.
So here what I have done, I have kept this query in CT1. Give the name, trying to fetch it. So let's start from CT1. So this is the output of the CT1. Okay. But here I have to tell to SQL engine name, comma, name, okay. So here I have used the string function just to display that where comma is not present, that is 0. Like here comma is not present, so it is 0. And in this case, and in this well, wherever you see this string function value is 0, keep last name as nothing. Okay, keep last name as. So that's why I will write case statement here. Case when this value equals 0, then another okay, now I'm executing it. Now see, last name you got Swan Kumar Reddy Sharma, and this is null. Okay. So what I have done here, I have told the SQL engine That when you're saying that this value is 0, it means comma is not there. Then I want the last name to be null, else keep the last name. Is it clear now?
Yes.
So now then what you have to do, your final query is, now you remove this one. This I just told you for explanation. Now if you want to discuss the final query, so now this will be your final last name. First name. Okay. Is it clear?
Yes.
There is one more way, but it is fine. This is more. Okay. Anyone, any question, please? Now you know how service string work, how in string work, how NVL works, how cases work. In this query, you see we have used how many concepts? We have used the concept of city expression, then NVL, service string, in string, right? Case statement. That is why the queries are going to know this is a complex query. No, nothing is complex. When you are getting some question, try to go in steps. Okay, first step, how I have shown you. First, I have shown you how to drag the first name. How to first name. Then, how to find the last name. In the first name, there was a challenge that was not coming right. First null. Then we replace that with NVL. Then we derive null in last name. Then we observe that okay, last name again Abdul is coming. Now how to remove it? Then again we thought of the logic. Then we implemented the logic. SQL is about logics only. Okay. Think about logic and write that in SQL. So that's all. Okay. Any other question?
Tanvir, question number 7. I don't know whether we have discussed such kind of thing or not. I don't know.
Okay, I will discuss it. Again, I am repeating. Any question, anyone on this? Anyone who wants me to repeat it? Seven you told, right? This one you told, no?
Yes.
Yeah, I think in your batch I will go here. I will do one thing, okay? I have to solve this is very simple actually. Okay.
Okay.
But I will explain. Don't worry, it's simple. What I was thinking is in order to save some time, I will share the solution for this because this is not that much concept. Then I'll explain the question first of all. So this is your country table. Here you have different country names. Okay. Question is to find the country which starts with lowercase. Okay. So in this list of country, you have to display on those countries which starts with the lowercase. Like you can see here Afghanistan, right? It starts with lowercase, right? You can see Russia, right? It starts with lowercase. Correct. So this is the question. You have to write a query to display only those countries which start with the lowercase. Fine. So this one example I will solve. The remaining I think you can solve in the similar pattern.
Yes.
Okay. Just one question to understand all the questions because it is.
Tanvir, your voice is breaking actually.
It's breaking for everyone.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Tanvir, it's not very clear.
Okay. I'll change the location. I think there's some network issue. Give me 2 minutes, guys. I'll change the location. Okay, how is it now? How is it now?
It's clear.
So it's clear.
It's clear? Okay. Okay. But it's fine, right?
Yes.
Okay, hope my voice is audible. Fine. So here the question is, you have to pay those money. Starts with the lowercase a. So you know, like the output should be Afghanistan and Russia, right? And you have to check only the first character, the lowercase. Lowercase a. Anyway, think of logic. I'm not asking SQL query. Think of logic. In this case.
And your voice is not coming, I think.
Again, it's breaking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tanvir.
It's breaking. I'm not sure what to play. Yes. Is it breaking again? Hello. Or is
So
that-
it's very low.
Yeah.
Very low.
It's very low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still, it is very low. How is it? How is it now? Still, it's very low.
Yeah, still it's very low.
It's fine for me now.
What about others? Is it low for everyone?
Now it
Now
is
what we are
fine.
speaking
Now
is
it's
clear.
fine. Yeah.
A
That is
little
fine.
bit better now. Yeah.
Okay. Let me know. Otherwise, I will change the headset. Okay. Fine then. Okay. So we have to find the country which starts with the lowercase. Fine. So here, what I will do. So here we are concerned about the first character, right?
Yes.
Correct. We are concerned about the first character. Now, first of all, tell me query which will give me the first character of all this name. What should I write here to get the first character of all this name? Tell me what's the query?
Substring.
Substring, then
Name.
name, then
1,1.
one. I'll execute this. I'll get the first character of each and every country. Okay. So this is the query. Sorry, this is the data. I can say here we got the first character of each and every country. So first task is over. After this, what I have to do? We got the first character, no? So after this, what I have to do?
You have to check.
Think of a logic.
You have to check whether it is uppercase or lowercase.
Good, good. We have to check whether it is uppercase or lowercase. Correct? Okay. So in this case, what I will do, how to check whether it is an uppercase or lowercase. In this case, what I will do, I will convert all these values in uppercase. I will convert all this in uppercase. Hope my voice is clear now.
Yes, Tanvir.
So I will convert all these values in uppercase. Now see everything I have converted in uppercase, right? Okay. Now what to do after this?
And now we have to compare this updated.
Now we will compare this, right? Now we will compare
Yes.
this and this. this and this and this, right? And if the comparison is not true, like this one, comparison is not true, it means it is in the lower case here, and this is the one we are looking for. Is it
Yes.
clear?
Yes.
See, first of all, I have fetched the first character of each and every name. First task is over. Second step, I will convert each and every character into uppercase. I converted everything in uppercase. Then third thing is I will compare this with this with this. If this comparison is false, that means it will do that. That comparison operator, sorry, I forgot true, false, it gives. No? Can anyone help me?
That's equal to equal to. Instead of comma, you have to put equal to.
What equal to?
No. From one equal to, then
Equal
take the D column. That IE. Yeah, then
Select
equal
and then equal to.
What to this one?
to, and then the yeah. Enter.
Ah, good. Thank you. True for everything. Oh, it is not taking case sensitive, I think that's okay. But you can see here, this value and this value, they are not same, right? They are not same. It means if it is not same, anyone is in lowercase. It means this was in lowercase. Similarly, this one. Okay, the comparison is not true. It means this is in lowercase. Is it clear?
Yes, Chandra.
Logic is clear what I'm trying to do. Okay.
Yes.
So now I will.
Yes.
Now I will implement this here. After this, I will convert this in uppercase. So I will write upper. So this equal is all logic only. Think of logic. That's all. See, it is everything is converted in uppercase. No, you please check everything is converted in uppercase. Okay. Now after this, I will write a case statement. Case. Although you can use a CT expression as well if you wish. Case when.
Then can I use direct where condition, where we will compare the string means upper substring is not in that.
Oh, okay. That also we can do. This, right? This expression.
The from is
From countries that put at last.
from country, then yeah, within that condition.
So we got the output, Afghanistan and Russia.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So you can use case as well, but yes, that will be more complicated. This is a better solution. You can use city as well, your wish. Okay. But this is a simple one. And I hope you all understood this. So name Afghanistan and Russia. They start with the lowercase a, and then you want you can remove this one. Your wish.
I tried doing case statement, so it was making a bit complicated. So
You are correct. It will be a little bit complicated. This is intelligent solution. So this is the output. Now here I want to tell you one thing. Like you see in the select clause, I remove this one, right? Even then it is working. Why? Because select is for the display.
display purpose.
There are some exceptions where if you remove from select, the query will not go. I will show all these things, but that is exception. So exception we should not take for granted. Okay. So now similarly, can you do the remaining questions? Can you try? It just starts with
Yes.
uppercase. This is just a opposite of that. Ends with lowercase. So you have to take the last character ends with uppercase. Again, the last character you have to tell, right? For last character, what you will do in substring?
-1.
Good, -1. This is good, which has lowercase anywhere. I want you just to try this. Which has lowercase in between except first and last character. Okay. Try this, okay? Try to solve it. When you will find, you will come to the solution. Okay, any other question, anyone? Servicing.
Sir, can you discuss question 5?
Question number 1. we want to discuss. Question number 1. Write a sequel to factor records which have at least one yellow present in
No,
a
question 5.
Question number 5. Okay. Oh, okay, okay. Shall I give hint here? Okay. Shall I give hint?
Yes.
Please go on mute. Okay, so this is your input table. You can see here. Now you guys are in a position that you can solve any question. Most of the questions you can solve. You have weekend ahead, so utilize it. Try to work on the assignments. So this is the input table. You have value A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, and this is the output data. This we want as an output. Okay, we want this as an output. Over to you guys. Okay, can you think and tell me a logic how to get this output A, B, C, D, E, F? Can you think and tell me?
Tanvir, I used CT expression first to separate these values before and before comma and after comma in two separate columns. I use CT expression. Then I fetch column 1 from CT1, then union, and column 2 from CT1.
That's the best solution. Yes, that is what I'm going to explain. Thanks. So first of all, here we have to segregate this, the one which is before comma and the one which is after comma, right? Okay. So for that, what I will do, I will write a name, substring, name, start from 1 and stop before the comma position. -1. Okay. Okay. So you got A, C, E. I have fetched this first value A, C. Is this query clear? What I have done here? Substring name, comma 1. And then this I'm using for the comma position. Okay. But I've written -1. I'm telling SQL engine to stop before comma. Okay. Hope it is clear.
Yes.
Yes.
Similarly, I will write after comma we have to start now. No? So this I have here. So I will give it +1. Okay. Start after comma till the end. So no need to write anything. So now I got PDF. Okay. Is it clear?
Yes.
So let's keep some alias here. Suppose it is first name. You can keep any alias, okay, your wish. I'm just keeping as first name. and last name. This is first name, this is the last name. I will keep it in city. And then I will type select. Same thing, I think, which sorry, who told I forgot, which needs start with the first name from C1, A1, union, select. I will union this output. So you got A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, hope it is clear.
Yes.
Yes, got it.
So now I will request everyone. I have given you some flavor of service string and string what they use. Okay, that's a hands-on session. So actually, what happens earlier? Now I teach is I will tell a concept, suppose of string and string, and immediately after that I will tell you something. I will discuss the question and the solution. But in that, what happened? I observed that it is something like a spoon feeding. Okay. Then for few batches, I change the format. What I'm doing is I will explain a concept. I will not discuss any question. Directly, I will give the assignment, and I want you guys to do some brainstorming, to scratch your head and think that what to do. Okay, and then when I am teaching, when I will be explaining solution, that will be very interesting for you. Okay, so that's why I want you guys to think or to proceed with this. So I hope you got some understanding of substring and string modules. That's why in the beginning I told that generally you will see substring and string they are used together. Okay. Fine then. Any other question, anyone? Any other question, concepts? Okay. This joins and this I will cover it. I start from the next week. Then I want to cover this tag anyhow. Very good. Let's start with connect and layer. Okay, this I will start with this. Okay, so I have few examples. I'm writing something, okay, and you guys, it's very simple actually, very simple. But this has helped me to solve few of the complex questions. You can see on my LinkedIn, whenever I'm sharing solutions, you will see many of the questions are within this level concept. Okay. Okay, just observe the output. Ignore the query what I'm writing. Okay, just observe the output. The value is 1. Okay. Keeping here 2. Now check what's the value. 1 and 2 is the value. Okay. Now 3. What is the value? 1, 2, and 2 and 3 is the value. Okay. Now tell me what you observed, guys. What this query is doing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Tell me what it is doing. Can I explain what is happening? I will explain.
Displaying all the levels till 10.
It is like it is generating the sequence, right? It is generating the
Yes.
sequence. So many times when you are trying to solve a question and you have to generate something, like suppose if you want to generate the seat number, okay, in a bus or a train, or you have to generate some other sequence. I will show some examples. Okay. So overall this level, and then you will be thinking what is dual. So actually this dual is a temporary table. You see, I have not created this table dual, right? But it is coming by default. Why? The reason is Oracle has this dual table by default. Okay, but it is not present in another platform. To check this in SQL Server, it is not present. The benefit of dual is you can do calculations as well here. Suppose select 1 plus 1 from dual. Show the value 2. Okay. And then you want to check current time. Exact. Sorry, I forgot the exact one, but it was there, I think. Sorry, I forgot. There are a few reserved keywords. You can just write here, it will show you the time, date, and everything. Okay. So what I want to highlight here is Dual is a temporary table provided by Oracle. You can use it for calculation purpose. You can generate time, date, and here as well you can see for generating this sequence. I have used this. Okay, and label is the reserved keyword. You have to write this only. One thing. Suppose if I will write here label n. If I write it label n. Now see. It is showing invalid identifier. So that's why you have to write here always label. Okay. If you're thinking, can I use this in CT expression and all those things? Yes, everything is fine. You can use it. You can use it for joins and many other purposes. So is it clear? Very simple. Label is very simple. I will show you a few examples. I think after join, I'll be able to show you examples of this. Actually, in the previous batches, I don't teach this, but many of my participants in the previous batch were like, "Sir, please explain." Okay, let me cover join and then again I'll explain like how to use this in questions. Simple join. When I come to that, I will explain you. But this is what the use of level is. It will generate a sequence. Any question? No? Okay. Then this limit keywords. No, I will explain you recursive CT. Again, very common these days. Earlier, I have not included this in my agenda. Okay. So this is an example of recursive CT. How many of you have heard about recursive CT? Anyone? Anyone who have heard at least of recursive CT?
I haven't heard, but recursion is like calling a function. A function calls itself again and again.
Almost correct. Anyone else who has heard about recursive CT? I want to understand like the level of my participants so that I will start from that. No, no one has heard. There it is. Good. See, here I have created a customer table. Okay, and this is a recursive CT. Actually, this is like CT only, but why the name is recursive, I will come to that. Okay, and I will not go in detail now. I will show you for example. But just I will give you a flavor of this, the production and the recursive CT. So, in the entire SQL, okay, the entire SQL, so far whatever I taught or whatever I am teaching down the line, there is one limitation. Okay, the limitation is those who have studied C, Java, Python, or any other programming language, Unix. You will see in all these languages you have one thing that is loop. Right? You can create.
And be sorry to interrupt, but your voice is coming very low for me.
In slow for everyone.
Yes, sir.
How is it now? Still low? It's
As
still
of
low?
now, it is fine. As of now, it is fine.
Okay, so I'm not sure what is happening. Network is good here. The same headset what I use really. Okay, but it is next time, and I think I have to change the headset.
I think we are getting some air, like maybe voice of fan or something like that. I don't know.
Now how it is?
Now
How
it is
now?
it is better.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not sure what is happening today. Okay, fine then. Fine. Still, if it is breaking, let me know. Then I think we would continue tomorrow then. Okay. Let me know if it is still breaking or the volume is low. Okay.
Now it is
So
This
clear.
is perfect.
perfect. Okay, fine then. So I'm talking about recursive CT. So I was telling that I will repeat what I was telling. I was telling that in the entire SQL world, uh, whatever I have taught so far, or what will be teaching, what will be studying down the line, there is a limitation. Okay, the limitation is you cannot see looping concept here. Those who have studied C, Java, Python, Unix, no? You will see you have some loop. You can create loop. You have while loop. You had do while loop, right? Even in for loop, you can create some loop, and it can continuously keep on running, right? You can keep it for a sequence like 1 till 10, 1 till 100, and many times by mistake you might have seen that it will go in infinite loop, right? And it will keep on running, right? How many of you have observed this?
Yes, I have observed it.
Observe, me has observed. Okay, so those who are from technical background or those who have studied this languages, you might have seen that you can create a loop. Okay, but if you have not observed or if you not studied, not an issue. We'll discuss it now. Okay. So that was one of the limitations so far in SQL. Now recursive CT, okay, is an addition recently, and this will help to create that loop. Okay, I will tell you how all those things. So here I've created this customer table. Okay, 12145 customer ID, and this customer name is Elias Bob Charlie, something like that. Now this is your recursive CT. We will try to understand. This is a little bit complicated concept, but very useful. And nowadays, interviewers, they're asking questions based on this. Okay. Okay, now let's try to understand. Till here it is same as CT. I've written this with CT. Just in bracket, I've written something. I will tell you why I've written this, what is the benefit and all those things. So ignore that part for the time being. Okay. Now, apart from this, and please stop me then and there if you think that the concept is not clear, if you're getting a stop me then and there. Okay. After that, I have written here, select one as ID from customers. Okay. So let's try to understand the meaning of this line. I'm running this line only. This line only I'm running. Okay. Select one as ID from customers. Now see what is the output. Can someone tell me what the behavior of this output?
For every row, ID is replaced by 1.
So this is a normal behavior of SQL. Okay, this is not happening because of this recursive. Let me copy this line and let me keep it here. You see, even if I will so even if I will execute it here, you will see it is 111. So don't think it is because of this recursivity. No, this is a normal behavior. Or else if you write comma ID, customer ID, no? Customer underscore ID. Customer ID 145, and we have a new column ID which is one of this. So, and suppose if you want to write customer name, so this is the output. So the purpose of this is SQL has given a freedom that you can create a runtime ID and you can assign some value. So you see we have a runtime ID column and we have value 111. Is this query clear? Okay. So similarly here what I have done, I am assigning ID as 1 in the customers table. I hope it is clear so far. In customers table, ID is 1. This is step 1. Step 1 ID equals 1. Okay, fine. This step 2. Okay, I want to confirm again. My voice, how it is now? Is it fine?
It is perfect.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay. After this, I have written union all. I will tell you why I have written union all. Can we write union? What is the purpose of this? I will come to all this stuff after this. Okay, so ignore this part. So far, I have told you to ignore this ID which I have written here in bracket, because earlier you might have seen whenever I'm using CT expression, I have never used this any column or value within brackets, parenthesis, right? And then here I've used string and all. So I will discuss about this as well. Please ignore for the time being. After that, coming to line number 125, here I've written select ID plus one as ID from CT. Stop here. Okay, let's stop here. What is the meaning of this? Whatever you know, just tell me. ID plus one as ID from CT. Whatever you know, just tell me. It's very simple. Just think and tell me.
The ID column from the CT1 add
Hmm.
+1.
Plus one means I am telling SQL engine to increment it by one, right? So in a step 2, if I will ask you that, tell me what is the new value of ID? What is the new value of ID?
2.
2.
2, guys. 1 plus 1, 2, right? So till here, the value of your ID is 2, right? Let me make it more simple. Let me keep it 2 here. Okay. I'm keeping it more simple, then I will add all those conditions. So far, is it clear? Till here, is it clear? I'm telling here that I'm telling to SQL engine that SQL, the ID value, whatever you have assigned here, increment it by 1. So the new value of ID will be 2. Okay. And then here I've given some condition. I will discuss about this condition, leave it for the time being. Then in the outer query, I'm telling SQL engine that display me the ID value, whatever you have derived. Okay. Now I'm running it. Value is 1 and 2. Okay. Is this clear? Whatever I have taught, is it clear so far what is happening here? Yes or no? No, it's not clear. Okay, let me repeat this. See, what I have done is line number 123. First of all, I'm assigning ID 1. Okay, from customers. So I'm assigning ID as a value 1. So in step 1, you have ID as 1. Okay. Then I have written union all. I told you to ignore this part. I'll explain after some time. Then in the next line, 125, I've written select ID plus 1 as ID from CT. So in this statement, I'm telling SQL engine to increment ID by 1. Okay, so now what's the value of ID? 2. Again, I'm telling you to ignore this part, ignore it. Okay, I will explain you what is the significance of this, ignore it for the time. Then finally, I'm fetching select ID, distinct ID from CT. Okay, or remove distinct ID. Select ID from CT, and when I executed this, I got the output as 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. Okay, it's getting repeated. Okay, then keep it distinct first, then I'll explain you that part. 1 minute. So what's the value you're getting here? 1 and 2. Is this clear?
So here Tanvir, ID 1 is coming from the line number 123. And
123, yes.
yeah, and ID 2 is coming from line number 125, where we are
Correct.
adding custom.
Correct. You are correct. Yes. Is this clear so far? Any question? No? Okay. Okay. Now, if I will keep here 3, now check the output.
112.
1, 2, 3 is the output, right? Now, this is what I want to make you understand. Now listen very carefully. When I'm executing this piece of code, again, first of all, line number 123 will be executed. Here, what is the value of ID? 1. ID is 1. Okay. After that, union all, and then you have ID plus 1. So the new value of ID will be 2. Okay. Now, after this condition will be executed. Your SQL engine will check the new value of ID. New value of ID is 2. Now tell me, is this 2 less than 3?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. If the condition is true, so again it will start this loop, this one. Again, this will be executed. So now in a step 3, what will be the value of ID? 2 plus 1 equals 3. Okay. Now here again it will check this condition. Is this 3 less than 3?
No.
No. So condition is false. So it will break this loop. It will come outside. So now this query will be executed. Okay. So that's why in this case you will see the output is 1, 2, 3. Is this clear? Now,
No, Tanvir,
yeah.
come again, where ID is less than 3. In line 125, it's this query is run by 2 times.
Right.
Yeah, I do not understand this.
Okay. No problem. No problem. I will explain this again. No issues. Fine. So let's start from beginning. Okay. I know this is a little bit complicated. Understand it's good. If you will repeat this, it is good. You can get some concrete understanding. No issues. See, step 1. Which line will be executed? I want your response, guys. Please tell me. In step 1, which line will be executed?
123.
123. Good. This will be executed. So what is the value of ID now?
1.
1. Good. After 123, which line will be executed?
125.
125. I told you to ignore union now. Okay. So 125 will be executed. So here in 125, what you are telling to SQL engine?
Increase the ID by 1.
Okay, good. Step 2. So you're telling increase ID by 1. So earlier value of ID is 1. So now you're telling to add 1. So new value of ID will be 2. So till here, is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Good. After this, SQL will come here. It will check ID less than 3. What is the new value of ID? 2. Is this 2 less than 3?
Yes.
Yes. Condition is true. So till here, condition is true. If the condition is true, again this query will be executed. Again, this will be executed. Okay. So now in a step 3, the new value again it will increment it by 1. So what is the previous value of ID?
2.
2. Again it will increment by 1. So it will be now 3. Now again it will check the condition here. Is the ID less than 3? What is the new value of ID? 3. Is this 3 less than 3?
No.
No. Condition is false.
False.
Okay. So once the condition is false, it will break this loop and it will come outside. So when it will come outside, this will be executed. Now here you are telling whatever ID you have, print it. So what all ID you have so far? This is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. So that is why it will print 1, 2, and 3. Check the output 1, 2, and 3. I think you guys are a little bit confused, and many students I've seen they used to get confused as they are thinking that Tanvir, how this ID 3 is printed here, because here you are telling ID should be less than 3. So 3 is not less than 3, then how it is getting printed or displayed here? Okay. The reason why it is printed here is that here you have incremented this ID by 1. So this is step 3 has given this ID 3 here. When you checked it, this condition was false. It break this loop, it came outside. I agree. But here it has derived this value of ID, no, 3. So now in bucket you have 3 present. So that is why it is displaying here 1, 2, and 3 as well. Is that clear?
Sir, if we use less than equal to after ID, then will it display 4 as well?
Good question. I will come to that. But before that, is this clear, everyone? Anyone who wants me to repeat this? Is this clear first of all?
And we have
Yes.
question here.
Yes.
Okay, clear, good.
It
Now,
is like for loop in another languages,
yeah,
right?
perfect. That is why I told you recursive. That is why the name is recursive. This is acting as a for loop. If you have studied that for loop in C, Java, everywhere for loop is there. So it is working like that only. Perfect, good catch. Now the question is, then we add equal. This is what you told, right? You want to add equal here. Mihiraz, I think Mihiraz. Okay, less than equal to. Okay, fine. Let's do the analysis. Okay, let's do the analysis. So right now I have ID 3. Okay. So now this condition will be matched here. 3 is less than or equal to 3. Is it true or false?
Sure.
True. True. 3 is not equal to, but is less than 3. So one condition is true. So if the condition is true, then what will happen?
It will,
Increment.
yes,
What will happen? Sorry.
it will try to increase by one.
Increment the
Again, this loop will be executed. Correct?
Yes.
So again, the ID will be incremented by 1. So in step 4, what will happen? Now ID will be equal to the previous value is 3. 3 plus 1 equals 4. Okay. Now it will come here. Now what is the new value of ID?
4.
4. Is 4 less than equal to 3?
No.
No.
No. Condition is false. Some background noise is coming. Okay. So if it is less than, if the condition is false, then what will happen?
It will
Come
break
out
the
of the
loop.
loop.
It will break the loop. Where it will go after breaking the loop?
Select distance.
26.
126. This one will be executed. Now if I will execute this, what should be the output?
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. Let's check the output. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
So at least you got an idea how it is working. Okay. So that's why it is like a loop. It will work on the loop. It will keep on the loop. Okay, it will keep on running. Okay. Now tell me one thing. No. First of all, is this clear? Anyone who wants me to repeat this?
Tanvir, here
Hmm.
one thing.
Hmm.
So in line number 121, we have
Hmm.
written city ID. Okay,
Hmm.
so that's where this is working as a loop.
Yeah. That is the reason. You cannot tell that's the only reason. That is the parameter I'm telling that, okay, this ID I'm using, I'm informing here to SQL that I'm using a parameter, which is ID, and this will be incremented. Okay. But this recursive city is working because of this condition, what you have written. Okay. Union all and all. I'll explain. Many other things are yet there, which I have to explain. We'll explain one by one. Okay. So, but so far, any question, anyone? Is this the plain scenario clear? How it is working?
Tanvir, in
Hmm.
line number 126, you have just written
26.
select
Hmm.
distinct ID from CTE. Here
Hmm.
we are not supposed to write ID also in bracket.
No. That you should not write here. That you should not write here. Here I have written the purpose is I'm just informing SQL engine that there is a column ID which I'll be using and it will be recursive. It will keeping on loop. Okay, that's the purpose. Any other question? I know many questions will be there, but yes, ask.
And in line number 123, as you have written as select one as ID. So as far as we know till now that we write the column name as alias, right? So one is not there in the table. So how exactly SQL displays it?
Correct. That is what I told you here in the very beginning. Like this is the functionality of SQL. This is a function. This is not a special to recursive city. Don't think it is happening because of recursive city. No. This is a functionality of SQL that you can assign a value and you can give some column name as an alias. ID is not there in this table. I'm using this as an alias. Okay, one I have given and as an alias. That is why when I've executed this, so you see I'm getting a new column ID. A new column ID is there, and in this what value you have? 1. So this is the common behavior of SQL. This is not a specific to recursive city. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. So don't think that it is happening because of recursive city. No, nothing here because of recursive city. This is a normal behavior. That is why in the very beginning I explained this part. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Any other question? Okay, fine. Now tell me one thing. If you guys have understood it, tell me one thing. And before that, listen very carefully, observe it, and then tell me. If I'm removing this one, okay. Suppose if I remove this one, let me keep it here. And now if I will execute this query, then what will happen? Let's analyze this. In step 5, this 4, ID is 4. There is no condition. There is no condition. Then what will happen? It will stay in the loop or it will break it.
It will continue the loop again.
Increment the ID.
Correct. Good. If there is no condition, again it will come to this condition, ID plus 1. So the new ID will be 4 plus 1 equals 5. Okay. Again, it will check is there any condition? No condition. Again, this loop will be executed. So next step 6 will be ID equals 5 plus 1 equals 6, right? Again, it will come here. There is no condition. So this will keep on running till the infinite loop. Okay.
Because there is no stopping condition for it.
I am not mentioning here limiting condition. See what is occurred. Cycle detected while executing recursive with query. There is cycle, right? They have the SQL engine has detected a cycle. Cycle means it is going on that infinite loop. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So this proves that, oh, this is like something loop is working here. Similarly, those who know other languages, you might have done this infinite loop, right?
I have one question, Tanvir.
Yes.
In 125 line in for loop, we have to take the I equal to 1, I less than something, and I plus plus increment value. Here ID plus plus, we can use that ID plus 1 we are using. In 125 line, we can increment the ID plus plus.
ID plus plus.
Yes.
One more plus.
Yes. We cannot. We can remove 1.
Oh,
Yes.
I
Yes.
got it. You were thinking from that. I think I got it. This is what you're telling me to, right?
Yes.
Okay. Fine. See, why it's doing missing expression. The reason is, I think I forgot, maybe in Java, you are using this, right? ID is equal to ID plus plus, and
Yes,
Python as well, it will be incremented, right?
Yes.
But here
Yes.
it doesn't work in that pattern. Okay,
Oh,
yeah, here you explicitly. I think you are thinking from that perspective only, right?
Yes.
You use in that Java ID plus plus, and then it will be incremented in Python as well. You have that feature, but no, here explicitly you have to write. If your question is that, Tanvir, I want to increment by 2, is that allowed? Yes, that's your wish. You can increment by any value. From keyword not found. What happened? Plus 2 was ID from city ID less than 3. Where I've done the mistake. Where I've done the mistake here. ID is equal to ID plus 2 as ID from city where ID less than equals 3. No, something.
Simply we can write ID plus 2.
Equal to 1 minute. What happened? It was working perfectly. No? Here. Where ID less than. Maybe it's a special character here. Just from your message.
Previously you just wrote ID plus 1. Yeah,
Sorry,
previously you
repeat.
wrote select ID plus 1 only, not ID is equal to ID plus 1.
Oh, sorry. Correct. Sorry. I was thinking something different here. Okay, got it here. Yeah, fine. So now you can do here ID plus 2. You can increment this by 2, or you can increment by any other. Okay, now see I have incremented by 2. So the first value is 1. Okay, 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. So you can increment by any values. Is it clear?
Yes.
Fine. That ID equals that works in Python. I forgot I was writing it here. Okay. Any question so far? No questions?
Tanvir,
Okay. Hmm.
in line number 21, whatever we have provided in bracket after CTE, the column name which we have provided, we are supposed to use the same column in this inner query.
Yeah. Now let me explain. 1 minute. Let me explain that. Okay. Now let me explain you this part. Okay, I'm assuming that this you have understood how the engine is working here, how it is increment. Okay, one thing. Tell me one thing. When I executed this query, I got 5 in the output, right? But here it is telling ID should be less than equal to 3. Then how I got 5 here?
Because
The
in the
second
first
ID,
increment, we
It
got
is 3
3,
plus 2.
and that's why it's repeated one more.
Okay, I think you are understood. Good, perfect. Now let's discuss about this. I'm keeping here name as instead of ID, I'm keeping here employee ID. Okay, I'm keeping here employee ID, and I'm not using it anywhere inside this. You see here it is ID. Everything is ID. Okay. Okay. First of all, this one now I'm repeating. I know I've explained this, but still I'm repeating. Is this clear? Line number 123. This is not a specific to recursive CT. This is a normal behavior of SQL. Create any table. In that table, you can create a column as an alias. You can assign some value. That is a normal behavior of SQL. Okay, that is not specific to this. Now I'm running this query. ID invalid identifier. Okay, now one more thing I want to show you here. Just observe what I'm doing. Yes. Okay. It is telling ID as invalid identifier. Why? I've shown you 2 examples. I've kept here employee ID. I've kept here ID. Scenario 1. This is showing invalid identifier. This is scenario 1. This is your scenario 2. And here what I've done? Here I've written employee ID, right? So here again, ID invalid identifier. In both the case, it is showing ID invalid identifier. Now over to you guys. Think and tell me why it is telling ID invalid identifier and what is the significance of this value.
I think we are defining like it's defining invalid.
It's defining.
It might be looking for the column ID in CT temporary table if it is there or not.
Okay. Any other thought?
In 127 in the select, we have written select distinct ID from C.
127. Okay.
124 and 126. We are using the ID.
Good.
At this place, we are using the EMP ID. It will work.
Okay, it will work. Okay. No, I'm just asking this, that why this query or this query is throwing same error message that ID is invalid. SQL is telling that I don't know what is ID.
We are declaring the loop variable is different. That is loop variable EMP ID, but we are using the SQL query. We are using the ID only.
Okay.
In 122, we are explaining that we are going to use employee ID as a column, but we are using instead of ID, which is different. That's why it's equals.
Okay. Anyone else? I've not got the exact answer so far. Okay, I'm giving a hint. Line number 126. Line number 126. Tell me one thing here, only for the piece of code which I've highlighted. why I am telling SQL to fetch from CTE? Why? Tell me. This is the reason. Here I am telling SQL to fetch this ID from CTE. In this CTE, do you have ID column?
No.
No.
That's all. Here, if I'm writing from city, suppose here, if I'm telling, take this example. If I'm telling select salary from customers. Tell me one thing, I'm executing it. Why it is telling salary invalid identified? What is the reason?
There is no
No
column.
salary
column is
column.
not
in
there.
The salary
customer table.
column is not present in customers table, right? Similarly, when this is getting executed, SQL is thinking that, oh, there is something ID in the city user has defined. But in city, I have defined employee ID. I am fetching ID. SQL is saying, sorry, I don't know what is ID here. That is why it was throwing ID as an invalid identifier. Got it now? So understood the significance of this one. So here you have to write this. And now when you will execute this, it will understand that, oh, it is trying to fetch it from this particular city. Is it clear?
Yes.
Any question? So this is your recursive city. Now here I have written, I have hard coded any value, but here you can give any query as well. Suppose I want this maximum customer ID. I want to keep on looping till the maximum customer ID. I will write here maximum customer underscore ID from customers table. So that is what I have shown in the very beginning. So now it will check, it will execute this inner query. What is the value of maximum customer ID? It is 5. Now SQL will replace this with 5. Okay. So you can use any subquery within this as per the requirement of your question. So this is your recursive city. So overall, the story is recursive city is helpful to want to keep something in loop. Okay, you can keep something in loop, but you have to be careful with the condition. If the condition you have mentioned is not clear, it will go keep on. It will go on infinitely. Okay, so that's all. Do you have any question, guys?
And what if we use union instead of union all?
Okay. I forgot to mention that part. I am keeping here union, not union all. Okay. Please remember. Let me execute this. It is throwing error message. What is the meaning of this message?
It is mandatory to use union all.
Okay. So whenever you are using recursive city, it is mandatory to use union all. It is mandatory. Okay. Is that clear now? Any questions?
As we are declaring with city ID, so we are creating an ID column in the temporary table. So once it goes in the loop, it will compare with the column which we have created in the table, right?
Mihir, sorry, I lost in between. So can you repeat your question?
Yeah, in line number 123, as we are saying that
yes.
with CT in bracket ID. So we are already creating an ID column in the temporary table so
Correct.
that it matches with the column which we have written in the loop.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, you are correct. Yeah, correct. Okay, fine then. I will just stop here. And I have covered level today and recursive CT. And I'll just quickly tell you the agenda for the next week. I know we are running late. Just 2 more minutes, guys. So this is done. Pivot function I will cover after this. So next week I'm planning this joins and then window functions. Once it is over, then next week I have kept 2 classes in buffer. So I will try to cover the pending topics. Okay. So don't miss the next class. Okay. We will discuss about joins and all this window functions. So please don't miss the next class. Okay. So thank you all. Thank you. Take care. Happy weekend. Bye.
Yes.
Thank you.